If you could sit down with a funded trader, what would you ask him? Well, today we got a chance to do that with one of our traders in the Moneyball trading program. He is now trading over 3 funded accounts, and we had a chance to sit down with him and he can provide his tips on how you guys can become a funded trader. He shares some of his best trading tips, expectations that you should have as a trader, and what separates the winning traders from the losing traders. We're going to start off by looking at a trade review to see exactly how he trades his trading strategy using supply and demand, and then we start talking about those tips. I'm only going to ask you this once, and I appreciate if you guys like this video right now, subscribe, and if you guys have any trading questions, let me know in the comments, and you guys can always reach out to me on social media at Moneyball Austin. Enjoy the interview, guys. Give me a breakdown trade review of a trader that has 3 funded trading accounts, managing over $1 million.
Not quite, and also not 3 yet, but close to 3.
What are you at, 2, right?
I'm at 2, and honestly, I had a pretty bad week last week, so I'm dealing with like my first funded, like really bad week. But
sorry, man, I'm hyping you up a lot. Sorry, buddy.
I just should not have traded a week with that much news. This trade, and one thing that you should definitely keep in mind when you're taking any trade, no matter what your system is or what the intricacies of it are, is you should be building a story around every trade that you take. And then this is the 4-hour here. So you see a pretty strong 4-hour supply. And that's the box that I have indicated there. And then you have 4-hour price action going strong straight towards that supply zone. So this one in particular, you see price moving up real fast. This particular trade, I used the 4 EMA as an entry. So what I did was I just waited for price to get down to the 4 EMA, as it kind of was a lot prior to that. And I just targeted the highs, did a 1-to-1 risk reward and waited for it to hit the TP. And then it continued to go on to mitigate supply.
The way that I'm seeing this is you are executing this trade like either here or here, correct?
Yes, you got it.
Okay. And then you're going off of, okay, this is ultimately the higher time frame demand of supply of where you see prices rallying up to. Obviously,
Yes.
We don't see anything in here. Like that's all crap. This was actually a pretty good zone in here, like nice and balanced, that we would probably see a sell-off. But that's ultimately where you see prices making its way back up to. Yes. Now, you would see this thing making its move back up. And now you're waiting for like a separation off of the 4 EMA, kind of like how it has a big explosive move to the upside. And then we kind of have an open high-low close candlestick here, right? And then you're buying the pullback, right?
I'm really just buying the pullback. Yeah, no, I saw that the strong momentum candle, it was not showing signs of slowing down. I saw often, if you look at the price action before, at least price was touching the 4 EMA and continuing on its way up. So I figured that would be a good pullback, just a good point of value to buy at. And I with my trades, I often think of where will price go to rather than where should I put my stop and protect my trade. The main thing I go into a trade thinking about, and where are they going to be, and where are the highs, and where is the momentum possibly going to stop. So that's the idea behind this one.
Okay, so question here: would you be looking to trade, say, gold or something like that on a smaller time frame, or silver, considering it's overall bullish? Maybe you're thinking in your head like, hey, if I'm bullish this, I think it's going to go back up to here relative to the 1-hour time frame. Let's use this as an example, right? And would you put on like a 4 moving average and wait for this thing, your whatever price action or whatever type of read you're looking for,
so
to show you a buy setup, or you don't like anything in here?
Well, for me, so 2 things here. For me, I really am not too technical on entries. So I do not really value a specific technical setup to enter a trade. The way I use technicals more or less is structure and targets. So where are we relative into the market, and where is the point of value that we're at? So for this example, and also the other note on this is I don't trade lower time frames. Like, yeah, I sometimes will watch the 15-minute while price is doing its thing and working its way either towards my take profit or stop loss, but I'm not entering based on what's happening on the 15-minute or the 5-minute or the 1 minute. It's not for me. I don't know. Maybe there's some people out there that are doing it, but I've just found price action on the 4H is just a lot smoother. It's a lot less clunky. But using this example anyway, though, I mean, it really, really looks like price right now is at a really good point of value.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I think a lot of people think that they got to trade the lower time frames. I get it. It's a very attractive because then you can't sit there and say, I made $1,000 in 2 minutes, like on social media.
Yeah.
Little do they know, the uneducated people, well, there's 2, 3 hours beforehand that go into taking a trade set up like that. But there's also 10,000 hours of you learning the methodology and, and educating yourself and learning the knowledge behind that, right? And people just look at the end results. Oh, I can do that in 2 minutes. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and also think about it this way. I mean, I say this all the time. Like, if you're funded with $1 million, which honestly really is not that far of a reach for a trader, if let's say you like make a 3% profit on the month, you've earned 30 grand. I mean, that's a pretty solid paycheck, right? You don't need to necessarily chase the 1 minute charts and make a 500% return. I'm sure there's people out there doing it. I think some people in this group have even gotten some really crazy percentage returns. But like the way I view it is like, I don't want to take stressful trades. I don't want to be looking at the charts every single minute of the day. I really just kind of want to identify where the points of value are at the charts and let the market do its work for me and think about where price will go, stick to my system, and then just kind of, not be too technical about things, especially for entries. So that's kind of how I view it. Like that trade is a very simple trade. Like it's really, I'm not thinking too much into it. It looked like it was good, so I took it.
Yeah, you actually said we were talking about kind of realistic expectations to have in your trading. And you went on to say, if you have a look at the FTMO, I think that's the prop firm maybe you're with. If
Yes.
if you look at the leaderboards that they have, you're obviously going to see the top people. They want to advertise the top people. And obviously I get the sense of a leaderboards. It creates competition. I think that's a great thing to have, right? And people look at that but the new trader, the uneducated trader is looking, okay, that's something I want, which is great and all, but they're making crazy returns, 30%, 50%, maybe even 100% return because they caught some crazy explosive move. Now you take a bunch of traders that are actually funded. Okay, you're obviously going to have a handful of traders that are actually every month. There's going to be some trader out there that is making 30%, not month over month, but you take 1,000 traders. There's always going to be one of those 1,000 traders that hits 30%, 50%, right?
Yep. Uh-huh.
That's crazy leaderboards. That's an insane amount. But the realistic, you actually average everybody that's actually consistently making the money and you take the average, it's going to be 2 to 5%. That's just the
Yep.
realistic expectations.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
They're
100%.
going to burst your bubbles. Sure, you're going to have those 20 to 30%.
But yeah, no, I think last April, when I first joined, I had a really good month.
Is that how long you joined?
Yeah,
A
no,
year
actually,
ago, I guess, huh?
yeah, it's been about a year. Yep.
A year ago, and got 2 accounts working on your third one. That's pretty incredible, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I've learned so much. I mean, whether you stick to this exact game plan or not, I mean, just through going through something like this and talking to people and getting the reps in, you learn yourself and how you want to approach trading. So,
Yeah, I think everybody has to have their own little style to it. It's great to work with somebody, right? And take certain things, but you're going to have to customize your trading plan to fit your style. And that's why I will always say, here are 3 to 4 different setups. Take them all. You're going to learn which ones you like the most, ways that you just look at the market, maybe from your previous systems that you've learned or your previous education of just how you fundamentally are as a trader. You got to bring those strengths and weaknesses into your trading plan that they're going to be different from me completely.
yeah.
And that's something that a trader has to do. It's very difficult just to exactly copy and paste. I think there is that story out there, turtle traders or something like that. A very profitable hedge fund trader took like 100 traders, or maybe it was 1,000 traders, and he gave them his exact trading plan,
I've heard
exact
this. Yep.
trading setup, and everything to the T. Very, very simple to follow. Is all you have to do is follow this plan, manage risk like this, and you will be a profitable trader and you'll consistently make, I don't know, 5% per month. I think 99% of them failed or something, 98%. One or two or a very small handful actually made money.
Yeah, and
And
they
this is
all took different
already a
trades.
trading strategy that's making money.
They were given the same system and they all took different trades within that quote unquote system. And that's what I love about trading too, is like you can really you could have a completely unique strategy to yourself and trade the exact same markets as someone else and come with completely different results. It proves that it's just so much of a skill too.
Yeah, I mean, so I got a question for you, and that's I face that often. Like I can hold myself in the red easily, but when it gets into the green, I cannot wait to just exit the trade.
Right.
And I feel like but like I was in so much red, it was like just a breather to be in the green. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm closing it right now in a bit of profit. And I know it's the right trade for me.
So
Like yeah, go
why do
ahead.
you think you're doing that?
Maybe I'm not really confident in the trade itself.
And how do you think you should build confidence in your trade?
Just do actually, because I always jump into like a real test, like a real money versus just a demo. And now I just found out, like I used to do the demo on TradingView, which now obviously it's you guys are saying like you mentioned something FX Trader or something like that to test.
I don't use it's soft for FX. So I guess FT for the number for FX. I don't use it. I know Austin does, but it's a trading tool where you can kind of go back into I guess any date, you rewind and then replay bars, I guess as live data, and then just take actual trades.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, you're on the right track. It's really just getting the reps in with any trading system. And like you could look at this trading system, supply and demand, or you could take like support and resistance or any trading system. It's a game of probabilities. You're going to have perfect setups that are going to get stopped out and, vice versa. So the more you go back and actually test and are confident in the probabilities of your entry, you're not gonna exit a trade that's going into profit because what percent chance it has of eventually hitting the profit target.
Yeah.
So you just got to do the reps over and over and over again. It's a skill just like anything. So
yeah. And maybe like I was thinking, because I always aim for like right now I'm just drawn down the downfall. Maybe someone else is feeling the same way. I'm always chasing the home run, the like 4-1 or 5-1. Maybe you're right. Maybe now like I should bring it down to 2-1, or you know what I mean, even 1-1. You're saying you're more profitable to 1-1 versus like the home run.
So I'm still refining actually, that's one thing I've been working on with my trading is finding the exact optimal stop loss for my system. I'm going back and gathering data for that. But I mean, you can kind of build your system around what type of trader you are with, your risk tolerance and how many losses that you can endure. But, you could be the type of trader that does go for the home runs. There's nothing wrong with going a 5-1. You're going to lose a lot more and you're going to have to suffer with that drawdown. And, me personally, I don't really like having that amount of proportion of losses too. So that's why I keep it a little bit more, but that doesn't mean a 1-1 is any more profitable than a 5-1. It's all about yourself and what you prefer and what you can back test and what works for you over time.
Thanks.
That's actually why. Who's asking these questions, by the way?
Abby.
Oh, Abby. Hey, it's not showing up for the voice comms of who's talking. That's why I have to manually look. That's why I will always say at the start, be a very mechanical based trader and have a very mechanical way of just getting out of your take profit or entries or trade management, because you can always review after 50 trades to say, okay, yes, for the last 50 trades, I got out at a 2-1. Every single trade, I don't care winner or loser, 2-1. Does it make sense statistically if I go for more, or should I maybe go for less? You know what I mean? There was actually a pretty good post I think Brendan made. I'm not sure if he followed through with what he did. I think this is Brendan, yeah. And he was looking at, okay, what happens if I go for instead of 3-1 versus 4-1? what's my win-loss percentage? How much percentage would I be up? Any break evens? 5-1, 7-1, 10-1, and so on and so on. Ultimately, 7-1 made the most amount of money to him based off of his trading. If he traded the exact same, that's where he would make the most amount of money. But does that actually make the most sense for him logically? Does he mind, with a 25% win rate? That's what it would be. But he's going for 7-1s, right? But if he only went for 1-1, he would be actually losing money, right? And so this is why just being very mechanical and reviewing, that's how you can actually create a better trading plan to see what's working and what's not. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And your system might be optimal at a 3-1 compared to Brandon's, which is at a 7-1. It's setting up completely different. So,
and 6 months from now, it could be completely different.
Speaking of different markets, so how I got into trading, I started in crypto, then I moved into Forex. I like got destroyed in Forex, and now I'm finding my niche more into like a stock and future, where it's like actually a bit regulated than the crypto. And for the Forex, like, do you have a preference in which market? Because I see you like you're always mainly posting Forex stuff. Do you think I should?
Well, the reason I'm posting mainly Forex stuff is, well, that's what a lot of people look at. And that's what I used to trade a lot. But for the last 2 years, when I've done my yearly review, you can look at everything in the backtesting journaling tab. If you scroll up to like December times of 2022 and 2021. And I let you people know, like, hey, these are my top 5 performing asset classes. And for the last 2 years, it's been gold, silver, I think the NASDAQ, and oil. Consistently, those are in the top 5, right? So it's like this year, okay, well, let me just focus in on that. And there's some that are like I'm 0-10 or 0-20 with. That makes sense for me to remove them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get those data? Well, you get them by taking trades, and it takes time, right? But obviously, you can back test to fast track that. But yeah, reviewing to see what's working and what's not working, and trade what's making you the most money. And those were my top 5. And so that's why you see this year. Actually, you actually look into last year. I started last year of 2022 strictly trading kind of what I wanted to trade, the top 5, and I did well. But then I kind of was like, okay, I started refining too much. And I was like, okay, well, where are my drawdowns coming from? How could I get more trading opportunities? What if I add this, right? And so then I went back into currency trading, and then I was getting demolished through my currency trading. And so that's why I removed it again. You know what I mean? And that was in the summertime of 2022 is when I started adding the currencies back in. And then I'm not touching them this year right now. Swing trades is optional, but that will be a different thing I will consider. But I'm always considering different things. First 30 minutes versus the after 30 minutes of the US stock market open, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. You can always consider different things, right? So that's something that's actually worth investing into if you're trading the stock market.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I was saying earlier, it's really all about building a story. If you look at it as just a setup and because price is crossing one thing or another, you can do that with crossover of moving averages or whatever. It doesn't work if you're just looking for a specific technical setup to happen. You have to have a story built. What's happening on the higher time frame? What's happening on your time frame? Are we near what other traders are going to trade? Like, are we near support and resistance? Are we near a level that has been tested several times in the past? And then I can back up what you said about the fundamentals. Like, I know for me too, when this bull run with the stock started, I was not taking any longs because I was just like, I'm not buying stocks right now. And then it ended up, pushing up higher and higher, even especially with this news that's come out. But yeah, like you become more comfortable in your skin as a trader, knowing kind of what works for you too. So you just need to, again, it's just continuing to get the reps in. That's really it.
Sure.
Knowing your system and yourself.
Barros, I had a question. What was one of the main problems that you had in trading in general?
That's a good question. Getting, of all things I can think of, probably getting stopped out and then having price continue to go in my direction. I know that was happening like a lot when I was trading the 15-minute supply and demand setup, which was probably the most successful setup that I had with just using supply and demand entries, but I was getting just taken out with my stop right above like 15-minute supply or demand.
Okay, and how did you counter this? What did you do?
To do what I'm kind of doing right now with safer or focusing on where price is going to go, and then having my stop loss relative to my take profit, thinking in terms of where price will end up. That's kind of how I landed where I'm at right now. What other problems have I had too? I mean, the same psychological problems that everyone has. Like, you're going to go on drawdowns. You can be the best trader in the world and you're going to lose many trades in a row. Even if you have a 1-to-1, you're still going to go through periods where you're going to lose 4 or 5 in a row. It's just going to happen. So staying confident and sticking to the system too. But every trader goes through that.
You've been in here for 1 year, basically. Now you joined April of 2022.
Yeah.
And it's April 26, 2023. Yeah.
Yep.
You've seen people come and go. You've seen people do well. I'm curious from your point of view, what is the difference in those type of traders that quit or move on to the next thing, the next strategy, the next person that's telling them about a trading strategy, indicators, whatever, versus the people that make it?
I could definitely give my honest opinion on that. It's the same thing with literally anything. Like before this, I used to try to do drop shipping on Spotify, like a lot of people have tried to do. And I was finding a little bit of success with it, but I hated it. I just didn't like selling stuff to people. You can look at sports. It's when I played lacrosse when I was in high school, and I hated it. I just didn't, there was parts of it that I liked, but I wasn't really fully committed. When I found trading, it was just I couldn't stop looking at the charts. So, it's common to think, it could be a get rich quick thing. It seems like it will be so easy. You could just buy or sell and make money. And you don't understand, I guess, the probability factor of it. Using statistics, having a passion for economics and what's happening on the big picture, confluences with higher, all of those things that trading is something that I really, really enjoy and I look forward to doing every day. So I would say that the people that are joining that are probably not sticking it through, same thing with everything else. It just wasn't meant for them, and that's perfectly okay. But if you're just looking at trading as a way where it's I'll be able to make money this way as quickly as I possibly can, and you're not fully invested into it and you don't love it, then it's probably not going to work.
Mr. Burrows, why did you join this program versus another program?
When I was watching the YouTube videos, I noticed that I think I told you this a while ago, a lot of the videos that I watched, you were giving an analysis on what might happen at the future time. And I would just go back into the historical data on the charts and saw that, a lot of the time that's actually what was happening. Price was actually going to where you predicted it might go. And I knew that, watching a lot of other YouTube videos, people were more or less just kind of opening up data that had already passed, and they were, plotting systems on data that was already on the charts. Whereas you were more or less giving a progressive forward look at the markets and what was happening. So that was it for me.
This is a side conversation, a side question. The amount of people that reach out to me, they lost their FTMO account, their funded challenge, or they keep failing these challenges. And I'm just sitting there thinking, why are you taking these damn challenges if you know that you're not profitable?
Yeah.
You're feeding into these guys that there's nothing wrong with these companies. I think they're providing you with a wonderful opportunity, everybody, to trade millions of dollars. And obviously they've got to have some type of risk, and that trader's got to put up some type of investment to actually take the challenge. But they're taking a challenge that they're not even profitable on, and they're just feeding them money month after month or challenge after challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably one of the stupidest things, in my opinion, and understandable. A lot of people will call them scams. They probably make 95, 98% of their money, probably 95 to 90% from people that fail the challenge. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. They're offering people the opportunity to trade lots of money and trade money that's not their money. Now they got to have some type of criteria to filter through the people of who's good and who's not, right? And so you put a money cap on that, and you put them through a challenge of you got to hit certain targets and stay within certain parameters. Because a lot of the people that actually reach out to me and they say, I've blown 6 accounts. How are you blowing 6 accounts? Oh, I'm risking 20% per trade. Why are you risking 20% per trade? Right? Like there's a lot of idiots in this game, and probably not the best word to use is idiots. They're just very uneducated maybe at that point, but you would think after blowing 4, 5, 6 accounts, you would learn your lesson of not risking so much.
Barrows, I got a question for you, man.
Hey,
So
what's up?
I know you've been here for a year. So the question is, what helped you, what did this course help you where the other courses, I'm sure we all took different courses. Where did this help you out?
It helped me with a lot of things. It helped me with actually staying dedicated to a system. I mean, there's a million systems that you can use out there that'll be profitable, but this was the first time that I actually stuck with using a system for a long time, even though I guess my trading is a little bit different now. I was using this system for a long time. And then also really just understanding price action. I mean, a lot of that was just getting the reps in on my own and, learning on myself. But, I mean, just having that experience too, it's kind of just like building a skill and the practice. So,
yeah, I could add to that if anybody has any other questions. 1 second. I think you commented on picking a strategy that makes sense to you, and you went back to my videos and you noticed a lot of those previous zones work, and so which helped. But then I think just fundamentally, the strategy has to make somewhat sense to the trader that they're buying into the program. You know what I mean? Essentially, like that's what you're doing. Like you're buying into the system, not like financial. I mean, technically, yes, you are financially, as in your trading account or whatever. But you have to. It's like a sports term out there, right? The team won't be a whole team if you don't buy into the program. You know what I mean? It's not just you put the best talented players together. I mean, you look at the Lakers, I think in the 2020 season or the 2019 season, out of like the top 10, they had like the top 3 or 4 players in the NBA during that time. Anthony Davis, KD, LeBron James, they had
Oh, you're
Kevin
talking about
Anthony.
Westbrook. Westbrook. Okay,
Oh, and they had
Westbrook.
Westbrook. Dude, this
Westbrook,
guy had a
yeah.
legendary team. They had an
Yes.
insane team, right?
Yes.
Like every person, if they went to a different team, every one of those players would be the star on that team. That is the captain. They had 4 or 5 captains on their starting roster, and they didn't even make the playoffs. They had like a 400 winning rate, which is like they win 40% of their game. Yet they had all the talent in the world. They couldn't put it together. They just didn't mesh well. The team chemistry, they didn't buy into the program. Whatever, I don't care. It didn't work out, right? So I think it's very important for that trader to buy into the system as well. The other thing is I think you commented on was the support. I think support is extremely important. I hear from people all the time when they join. I like to talk to them for 5 to 10 minutes just to see where they're coming from, what their background is, what are they looking for in trading, how can I best direct them? Maybe they're already profitable and I push them into a different direction. Maybe they just need a coaching, which some people do just need, right? And they're just here for that. That's totally fine. But it's the support that I notice is beyond the level of service that's compared to anybody else. People will say they join somebody's program or whatever, and you wouldn't hear from them for a week, or they pay somebody else to do all the work for them. And they're like, hey, you want to sit in a 10-minute call, a 30-minute call? That's $100, right? So that's something I do pride myself on.
Yeah, I've never been part of another trading program, but I can I mean, this whole year that I've been around, you've definitely helped me anytime I needed help. So
yeah, I could be sitting there on a Friday night and I could just be chilling out watching a game and drinking a beer, and all of a sudden Mr. Barrows calls me up. Hey, how you doing? Got a question for you. No problem. What is it? You know? So yeah, that's good. But at the end of the day, it does make sense. Important support, buying into the system. But at the end of the day, the trader is what dictates whether they make money or not, because they're willing to put in the work.
I backtest your strategy, the way you teach us, and I like it. And I find myself sometimes keep looking at my old strategies and keep having regrets when I miss some setups by using my old strategies. How can I just get rid of all my old strategies and just focus on the strategy that you teach? Because I find I made last month, I made 6% with the trust strategy, but I keep looking at my old strategy. How can I just stop doing that? Do you have any like exercise I can do or book I can read to stop doing that?
I, I'm thinking of a joke here, but I'm going to see if Mr. Barrows can comment on that. But it's kind of like you got a new girlfriend, but you can't stop thinking about your old girlfriend. What is it about that old girlfriend, buddy? No, no. Okay. Okay. Barrows, did you want to answer that one?
Yeah. Just don't do it. I mean, you're only gonna like it's kind of funny to say that, but I mean, just don't, because you're gonna hurt your data gathering. You're gonna hurt your, perspective on the market if you just kind of blend with something you've been doing in the past. Austin might disagree, but I don't think that the specific entry that you take is even super important anyway. I just think sticking to something that does work is what's going to actually make it work out in the long run. You're going to hit losses and drawdowns in any system that you're going to use. So if you're losing, it's not necessary. It might not necessarily be because of your system. You're only going to know that if you've back tested enough anyway. So just keep doing what you're doing. Take the same setups over and over again, and you're going to know over time if it does work for you or not. Make sure you at least do like a few months with this system. And then if it doesn't work, go to Austin and see if you can tweak something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would also say your confidence will build as you see the setup occur more and win more. And as you get more experience with the system, like you're brand new into it, right? And congratulations, you had a great month. That's great. Your confidence will build over time. It's just like anything,
Okay.
Do you, like, when you enter a trade, is there like a time frame you want to be in the green to confirm? Like in my previous, if I'm not in the green, let's say if I'm in a like a long-term trading, if I'm not in green within 2 hours, I cut the trade off. Do you have something like that? Like, okay, I want to see myself in the green within the first 10 minutes of the trade.
I don't think of that at all. So I'm actually looking into, like I was talking about, MAE and FAE. So MAE is maximum adverse excursion. So how far that it goes before, or how much drawdown it goes before it goes back and hits the take profit. So I'm currently using that to kind of tweak. But as a beginner, I mean, I really would not be worrying about that at all. I would be worrying about finding a setup and sticking to it and not getting out of the trade. And that's just, I know you said that, you're closing trades early because, probably something psychological, but that's just something you're just going to have to get through that. You're just going to have to keep the reps up, and your confidence will build over time. And then also, like, when you do start getting a little bit consistent, then you can trade with, or you can experiment with things like that, getting out, taking partials or moving your stop loss. But for now, the main thing for you is just staying consistent with what you're doing.
So your program is designed for me, let's say 4 weeks of studying without actually putting a trade in. Is that your way of?
No, obviously it's a very rough guide on something like that. But what I'll break it down is the goal is 90 days. First 30 days, what I want people to focus in on is absorbing as much as they can about the methodology. You're not going to become some master of trading supply and demand after 30 days, but you should have a sense. If I ask you, hey, what's an uptrend? You could tell me in general, what's an uptrend? What's a downtrend? You should know the rules of supply and demand. You should know a general top-down analysis of what's kind of good and what's kind of bad, right? So that's why I will say just focus as much as you can, not on your winning trades or losing trades, just absorbing as much as you can about the methodology, because you're learning a lot. The second month is, obviously by then you should be taking trades. You should be getting a rough idea of what kind of works, what doesn't, and so on and so on. You should be putting together a plan and stuff like that. But then after the second month, it might take you an extra month to get 30 or 40 trades or whatever. Whenever you have 30 or 40 trades, you'll have a trading plan. You review all those trades to see what is working, what is not working, and we remove what is not working. We focus in on what is working, and we customize that trading plan that fits the trader itself the best, right? And then I say, okay, for the next 20 trades, this is your trading plan. I don't want to see a single trade outside of your trading plan that you deem as a good trade setup. After 20 trades, we can review to see if we need to change something. It takes work. right? Just like anything, this is a career that you'll do for the rest of your life and you'll manage your own money. You've got an endless upside roof, right? You manage trillions of dollars, become CEO, hedge funds, right? It's got an endless roof. And so, yeah, it's going to take a lot of work and effort. And most people end up quitting because they realize it's difficult or they move on to the next shiny thing. But if you want to actually learn it properly, I'm telling you, this is kind of what the outline of what I would tell people to do.
Okay.
Learn the program, 30 days, start taking trades, journaling your trade. That's why you journal, so that we can review. You don't journal, we can't review. We don't know what's working, what's not working. Boom, waste of time, right? Then you review, we see what's working, we make a trading plan, we refine it more, and then you stick to what's making you money and what's not making you money, and you start printing money, as dumb as it sounds. If you guys enjoyed this video, I appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe, and if you guys have any questions, you guys can always reach out to me on social media at Moneyball Austin. A free training on joining the Moneyball trading program will be in the description below, and that's where you can get your free training on the supply and demand methodology so you can start producing results consistently.